time of month again where we're going to do another roll the dice TBR. I'm so happy that you guys are loving these types of TBRs. They are so much fun to do. If you haven't checked out the other two that I've done in this style, I will link them down below. They are so much fun. So I'm really happy to see such great engagement on those videos. So I hope to continue this style of TBR moving into the future, and definitely let me know if you have any ideas for even how to improve upon this idea, because I'm now totally hooked on it. I love doing this every month. So without further ado, let's start rolling the dice to see which books I will be reading in the month of March. Okay, first roll, here we go. 3, that is the Two Towers. Here is the Two Towers, which is the first book I will be reading, and it is the classic for the month. Time to erase and replace. And the new classic on the list is Wuthering Heights. So let's do the second roll. Number 1, that is the new release. So I will be ordering House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. And the new release that I have replaced that with is The Return by Rachel Harrison. So let's do our third roll. And that landed on 11. So that is the Summer Children. Here it is, The Summer Children by Dot Hutchison will be my third book that I will read this month. And I will erase and replace. All right, I have now replaced that with Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. So time for the fourth roll. 6, that is The Last Wish. So here is The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. That is the first short story collection of The Witcher. So this will be my fourth book I'll be reading. And I have now replaced that with Recursion by Blake Crouch. Fifth roll. Oh. There is that roll. That is number 7. Number 7 is The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden, the second book in the Baron Nightingale series. So this will be the 5th book I will be reading this month. I have now replaced that with Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. 6th roll. That is Recursion by Blake Crouch. So this will be the 6th book I'm reading this month. And The Black Prism, which is the first book in the Lightbringer series, will now replace that spot. 7th roll. 3, the classic. So that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So this will be the 7th book I'm reading this month. This is the gorgeous Barnes & Noble edition. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie has now taken the classic spot. So here is the 8th and final roll. Yes! Yes! Finally! Yay! The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, which is the first book in the Wheel of Time series. I've really been hoping for this roll, so I'm so excited. This is the month I will now be starting Wheel of Time. And then next month we will have Crazy Rich Asians on the board. I am so happy with this month's Roll the Dice. So let's go over again which books I will be reading in the month of March. So the first one I rolled was The Two Towers by Tolkien. So read Fellowship of the Ring last month, loved it, can't wait to continue on with this series and continue to watch the movies because the movies are great too. And I think I'm really gonna like this one because I loved Fellowship, and if Fellowship is apparently like the slowest and like not the best one in this series, so yay, I'm excited to continue on. Also going to be reading The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski, which so excited about, and after I finish this I can finally watch The Witcher on Netflix that everyone's been raving about, so very excited to finally learn what all this hype is about. The next book I'm reading is The Summer Children by Dot Hutchison. So Dot Hutchison also wrote in this same sort of series these two books called The Butterfly Garden and Roses of May. I wasn't a fan of Roses of May at all, but I loved The Butterfly Garden, even though it was extremely disturbing. So I'm actually really excited to continue on with this, like, I think it's called the Collector series. It follows these same FBI agents as they investigate these different crimes each book. So I don't know what this crime is in this book, but hopefully I like it just as much as I liked The Butterfly Garden. Another classic I rolled was Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, and I have heard so many mixed things about it. Apparently you either like love or hate this classic. It's a love story, but it's not. It's definitely like a revenge story. I don't know. So I'm excited to see for myself what I think of Wuthering Heights. Also rolled The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden, which I was really hoping to do because I wanted to read this book in winter since it has such good winter vibes. I really enjoyed The Bear and the Nightingale, which was the Russian-inspired fantasy that really felt like a just classic fairy tale in the way it was told. It follows this girl named Vasya who can see these demons in the forest, and basically her father remarries this very religious woman who doesn't believe Vasya can see these creatures and is trying to rid the village of these creatures, and thus makes it worse for everybody. And it's just this really cool story that really picked up kind of the second half of the novel. So I'm really excited to continue on with this. I'll also be reading, I'm so excited about this. I'll also be reading Recursion by Blake Crouch. Dark Matter is one of my top 10 favorite books of all time. I loved it so much. I love how much it blew my mind. So I've heard Recursion does the same exact thing where it just blows your mind in a totally same but different kind of way. I'm so excited for this. So can't wait to read it. And finally, I have rolled The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, the first book in the Wheel of Time series. So here we go. I'm starting this epic, humongous fantasy series next month. And then the last book I rolled was the new release, which is House of Earth and Blood, or Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, her first officially adult novel. I mean, we all know like A Court of Thorns and Roses and that whole series is kind of adult anyway, but this is her first official adult fantasy novel, so I'm very excited to see if I like it more than her other series. I hope I do, because even though I really like A Court of Mist and Fury, I'm not a huge fan of like any of the other stuff. Like, I like it just fine, but I wasn't like the biggest fan ever. So I'm really excited to read this one and hopefully fall in love with this new world that Sarah J. Maas has created. So these are the 8 books that I will be reading in the month of March. What do you think of them? Any books that you see that are some of your favorites? Maybe your least favorites? Hopefully not. If you enjoy this type of TBR video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until next time, bye!